Florida State's program, their coach, Jimbo, and their players. They got a great defensive team. And it took everything that we had in all facets of the game, the way we played defense, the turnovers that we got, the difference in special teams in terms of a blocked field goal, a blocked punt, as well as a turnover on a kickoff return that gave great field position. I think the field position was controlled a lot by special teams in the game, which was very good. Obviously, some of the areas that we probably weren't as happy with is consistency on offense. Didn't make a lot of explosive plays, had some opportunities, whether it was a lack of protection. Quarterback didn't have an opportunity to do what he needed to do, but we didn't have any turnovers, we didn't have any penalties. We got to do a better job of executing on a more consistent basis, but very, very proud of our players to come in first game of the season. You could always pick out a few things that were a little ugly, but I'm really proud of the way they competed. They played really hard in the game. It was a tough physical game, and hopefully we'll focus on improving and do the things that we need from here on out to try to get better as a team. We certainly know where we're at right now.
Thanks, Coach. All right, Rachel.
Coach, can you just talk about the process in the offseason of what you guys do as a team to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes? Because that seems to be characteristic for you guys. And especially now in the first game, where you're trying to work out kinks, you're trying to figure out things, and again, it was on display.
Well, they didn't do a whole lot of stuff that they haven't done in the past. So I think our coaches did a really good job of preparing our team to take advantage of some situations in a kicking game. The block punt was, a good scheme based on their protection and how they protect. Should have scooped it and scored it instead of falling on it, but sometimes freshmen are freshmen. But we continue to try to look for ways to help our players be successful in all facets of the game, and we're going to continue to do that. I think they believe in it, buy into it, or committed to it, and practice it so that we can make plays in the game, and it always reinforces their efforts when they do.
Okay, right here in the second row.
Yeah, what's the status of Rashawn Evans and also Terrell Lewis?
Rashawn Evans has a groin. They'll have to check it out. He couldn't play in the second half. Terrell Lewis has an elbow injury. His status is very questionable. Christian Miller has a bicep injury, very questionable. And Anthony Jennings has a sprained ankle and could not play in the second half. So we had 4 linebackers, 3 outside backers, and an inside backer that didn't play much in the second half.
Right here in the middle.
Hey, Coach. If you could comment on Damian Harris and his play tonight.
I thought Damian did an outstanding job. He's practiced really well, had a good camp. The combination of he and Bo, maybe we'll get Jacobs back, Najee Harris. I think all those guys can contribute at that position. But Damian had a really good night tonight, made some big runs for us.
All right. Over here on the far left, Coach.
Was the plane going in to play both Trayvon and Levi?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Speak up, please.
I said, was the plane going in to play both Trayvon and Levi? What did you see from Levi in particular?
Those 2 guys have been competing at that position all fall camp. We busted a couple coverages. We were really lucky early in the game. We cut people loose 2 or 3 times. Not just Trayvon, we just made some mental errors. And Levi's got a lot of experience. He's been in the system for a long time. Played very well when he had the opportunity to play. Very smart player.
Okay, right here in the second row.
Coach, I know you haven't seen the tape yet, but how would you evaluate Jalen tonight?
Well, I thought Jalen did a good job. He did what we asked him to do. I think a lot of the things that could have been really good plays for Jalen didn't turn out so well because we didn't protect very well. Now, he would tell you that sometimes he's responsible for that because he could redirect the protection. But there were other times we made mental errors up front and didn't block them. And we had people open, but couldn't get them the ball. So the whole deal on offense, we have to do a better job of executing, especially when it comes to the passing game. They're a pretty good front. We could complain about running the ball better, but we probably ran it good enough. If we could have had the kind of balance that we wanted in the game and been able to protect so that we could make some plays and make some throws down the field. But I thought Jalen did a good job in the game.
Front row on the left right here.
Coach, what did you tell them at halftime, and what was the biggest adjustment you felt like you made in the second half?
Well, look, we make a lot of adjustments based on what the other team's doing, but mostly what we go over is the mistakes that we made. And I didn't feel like we executed very well in the first half. We made a lot of mental errors on fundamental things, and I challenged the players to execute better in the second half, which I think we did. And I also told them that, you know, this was going to be a 60-minute game. It was going to be a tough game, and everybody's going to have to check their whole card to see if they have the kind of will to hang in there, because it was a physical game. We had a lot of guys banged up at halftime, and we had some other guys step up and do a good job for us. So I was really proud of the will to win, the will to hang in there, the perseverance that the players showed, especially in the second half.
All right, time for a couple more. Let's go right here, third row on the left.
Good evening, Coach. You held Florida State to 40 yards rushing, even after replacing 6 starters on defense. Is that something that you expected out of your defense? And can you speak on the play of your linebackers?
Well, we had a tremendous respect for Florida State's offense. The balance that they usually create, running the ball and passing the ball and making explosive plays. I think the combination of them only making one explosive play in the game and their inability to consistently run the ball was probably something that was a real benefit to us. Early in the game, they were moving the ball against us because they were running it 3, 4, 5 yards. We were getting in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. Our plan was to try to pressure the quarterback. Could never do it in those situations. So we started creating more negative circumstances on 1st and 2nd down, which put us in a better position on 3rd down. So when we got into that rhythm, I think we played a little better on defense, but I was very pleased with the way we stopped the run.
All right, back here in the back, all the way in the back, Coach.
Coach, at the end of the day, it's a week 1 win, but did the game itself feel bigger as far as the atmosphere goes?
Oh, it was a great atmosphere. I mean, I think the Chick-fil-A people do a marvelous job here. The city of Atlanta is very, the hospitality that they afford us is really appreciated. And we love playing over here. Our players love playing over here. I think this Mercedes-Benz Stadium is a fantastic venue to play in. It was a great experience for our players to have the opportunity to play here, and we played a really good team. So a lot of good things, but it's one game. We have a long season. We're going to have to get other players ready to compete at a high level but don't have as much experience if we're going to continue to improve as a team, and that's the focus that we have right now, is what's ahead, not what's behind.
All right, we'll end it there. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.